Okay, we have completed velocity selector yesterday. Today we have to start cyclotron. Okay, today we are going to start this cyclotron. So yesterday we have already seen that mm, there is a crossed field. Okay, there is a crossed field of electric field and magnetic field. Okay, crossed field means they both are cutting each other. Magnetic field lines and electric field lines, they both are cutting each other. Okay, in a space, they both are at 90 degrees to each other. Okay, so here in the figure, if you can see, so the electric field has been shown in the black color in this figure. The electric field has been shown in the black color, whereas magnetic field has been shown in the blue color. Okay, so in this space they are actually cutting each other, so that is why we are calling it as a crossed field. Okay, that's why we will be calling it as a crossed field. Fine. Now, after this, we have assumed the direction of velocity vector. Okay, what we are doing, we are projecting a particle, a charged particle we are projecting, and it is in the direction of plus k. Okay, it is in the direction of plus k. So now if you are having uh, this velocity vector, okay, which is coming from screen towards you. Okay, that is the k direction, that is the plus z direction. The plus z direction, what we are assuming here is that the particle is coming from screen towards you. Okay, that is the plus k direction. Fine. Now, if that is a direction, so we have found out that if the particle is there, so it will have a electric force. Okay, so this is the electric force that we have shown in the upper direction, whereas the magnetic force we have calculated using vector product, cross product, and we found that it is in the downward direction. Okay, and then we had done this analysis. The analysis is on your screen. So we have done it like this. Okay, so we came to the conclusion that if the electric field and magnetic field, the forces are equal. Okay, the force due to electric field and the force due to magnetic field, if they both are equal, then the velocity will be equals to electric field value divided by magnetic field value. Similarly, Fe will be great. If Fe is greater than Fm, then you have the velocity is less than E by B. Okay, and if Fe is less than Fm, then velocity is greater than the E by B. Okay, so now what happens? We have also seen here that if they both the forces are equal, so where is the particle going? And if electric field force is greater, where the particle goes, and if magnetic field force is there, so where is the particle going? So all these things we have already completed. Okay, now we are going to start the next topic, which is cyclotron. Okay, so cyclotron is a theoretical topic. There's not much complicated in this. Okay, so it is a theoretical topic. Mostly it is board exam related topic. Okay, board exam oriented, but still there is a chance that you may have a question from in competitive exams also. Okay, from this chapter, from this topic. So remember, when a question comes in board from cyclotron, okay, it will be theoretical. It will be not less than 3 marks. Okay, it will be not less than 3 marks, because they will ask you to draw the figure. They'll be expecting you to write down the principle, uses, limitations, and all. Okay, so it will not come less than 3 marks. Okay, fine. They can also ask you in 5 marks also. So in that case, this question is a very easy question in board, and it is a pure gift. Okay, a gift to you, so that you can grab 3 or 4 marks or 5 marks from this topic. Okay, they can ask you this question. They can ask you this question in competitive exams. Okay, so let us see what is cyclotron. Okay, let us see what is cyclotron, and then we'll analyze it in detail. Okay, so first, what is the use of cyclotron? Okay, what is the use of cyclotron? So see, in nuclear physics, okay, you or in Rutherford experiment, you would have studied that alpha particles are bombarded on the gold foil. Okay, so till now you have studied that alpha particles have been bombarded on this gold foil. Okay, so you do the experiment. So the thing is how that alpha particle is getting that much of velocity. Yes, how is that the alpha particle is getting that much of huge velocity? Okay, so we have to see that. Okay, so we have to see that how is this possible that the alpha particle is getting that much of huge velocity. Okay, one thing. Second thing, wherever we need transmutation, wherever we are generating new material, okay, transmutation. So there we have to use this high speed particles, okay, charged particles. So this cyclotron is a device, which is used to accelerate the particle, which is used to accelerate the charged particle. Okay. So the first point that what you can write is it is a device, it is a device used to accelerate the charged particle. Okay, is used to accelerate the charged particle. Now, what kind of particles you can accelerate? What kind of particles you can accelerate? Do we can we accelerate all? Actually, accelerate all the particles? So no, we will only accelerate charged particles. We will only accelerate charged particles, and which are lighter in weight. Which are lighter in weight. Okay, so which are heavier in weight. Okay, sorry, which are heavier in weight. Lighter particles we don't do. Lighter particles we don't do. Okay, so heavy charged particle, heavy charged particles like proton, okay, neutron, alpha particles, etc. Okay, these are accelerated. These are accelerated using the cyclotrons. Okay, now why do we actually want in nuclear physics or for experiment, for bombarding, transmutation? There are so many uses. Okay, for making new radioactive elements. Okay, so all these uses you will see at the end. Okay, not now. Okay, now next thing what we should understand is the principle. Okay, on what principle, on what principle does the cyclotron works? Okay, on what principle does the cyclotron work? Okay, so what is the principle actually? We have to accelerate the particle. Okay, we have to accelerate the particle, so electric field must be necessary. Without electric field you cannot accelerate the particle, you cannot increase the kinetic energy of the particle, you cannot increase the velocity of the particle. Okay, without electric field. So what is the first thing you can understand, that if you have to accelerate it, if you have to increase the energy, or if you have to increase the velocity, okay, we need electric field. Okay, we need electric field. Okay, so what I can say here is that if we pass a charged particle through electric field, so what will happen, its velocity increases. Okay, so if we project particle, charged particle, charged particle through electric field, through electric field, okay, its energy, okay, its energy or its velocity or energy increases. And that is what we want. Okay, so this is the principle. Okay, now next is setup. Setup, it is very important to understand the setup. Okay, I'll try to draw 2-3 different figures, okay, orientations wise, so that you can have a better understanding. Okay, you should not draw all the setups. Okay, a simple diagram, I'll tell you that which diagram you have to draw in the board. You don't have to draw all the diagrams. Okay, a simple diagram is more than enough, but for understanding I will be taking 2-3 diagrams. Okay, so first what you should be having is you are having a magnet. Okay, you have a magnet like this. Okay, these are the two magnets. So one is south pole, one is north pole. Okay, one is south pole and one is north. So this is suppose north pole, this is south pole. Okay, and in between you are having a structure. In between you are having one more structure. Okay, so this is somewhat like this. It is like this. Okay, do you see this? Now the magnetic field, I have already told you yesterday that it will be from north to south. So this is the direction of magnetic field. This is the direction of magnetic field. So if you see from the figure that is drawn in front of you, so you can see this is a vertical structure. Okay, this is a kind of a vertical structure. Okay, where you are having two poles, north and south. Okay, and this in between, the figure, the part in between is called as D. Okay, this is called as D. Okay, this is D1 or D2. So this is D1 I'm saying, and this is D2. Okay, this is only because they are of that shape. They are shape of the D. Okay, that's why they are called as D's. Okay, that's why they are called as D's. Understood? That's why they are called as D's. Now, after this, I'm trying to draw this D now. Okay, I'm trying to show you the how this D would look like. Okay, so this would be like a circle. Okay, not a complete circle. It would be somewhat like this now. Okay, like this. Okay, so this is D1, this is D2. Okay, and if you see the magnetic field top to bottom, so I can draw the magnetic field like this. Magnetic field going into the screen. Going into the screen is the magnetic field. Okay, magnetic field is going into the screen. Understood? Magnetic field is going into the screen. So now actually what is this D made up of? This D is a hollow, okay, hollow metallic conductor. Okay, hollow metallic conductor. It is not a solid, it is hollow. Okay, so this is a hollow metallic okay conductor. Understood? And this is the another view of this D. So I hope you have understood this thing. Okay, and then you have a cross the field. Okay, magnetic field going inside. You have a magnetic field going inside. Still now I have not shown you the electric field. Still now I have not shown you the electric field here. Okay, now let us start the analysis and the working of this. Okay, let us start this analysis and working of this. Okay, so I'll just take this figure. So now working. Okay. Now we are going to see the work. Now what we need from this cyclotron, that we have to increase the velocity. I have to accelerate the particle. So what you are going to do now is you are going to project a particle here. You are going to project a particle here. Okay. You are going to project a particle over here. Okay. At this point. Okay. With v velocity. With v velocity in this direction. With v velocity in this direction. Okay. With v velocity in this direction, you are going to project the particle. So now what will happen? There is a magnetic field perpendicular to it. Okay. You are projecting a velocity particle in this direction, and there is a magnetic field perpendicular to it. What will happen to this particle? Yes. Anyone? Anyone who can tell what will happen to the particle? So first, what you are going to do, particle is projected. Perpendicular to magnetic field. Towards D2. What will happen? Helical path. Yesterday, what did you understand? Helical path will be at 90 degree or at any random angle. It will move in a circular path. It will move in a circular path, 90 degree circular path. You people are not studying. Very good. One more person has written helical. I am saying circular, you are writing helical. At 90 degree, it will go to helical path. In 90 degree, it will go to helical path. That is what you have studied yesterday. So it will move in a circular path in the presence of magnetic field. Okay. Now you have to increase the velocity. You have to increase the velocity. So before increasing the velocity, what you have to do? You have to make this D2 as negative. Okay. You have to make this D2 as negative. You have to make this D2 as negative and D1 as positive and D1 as positive. Okay. D2 as negative, D1 as positive, then only what will happen? The electric field will be set up from this D1 to D2. And when this electric field is set up like that, so what will happen to the positive charged particle? It will move suddenly towards the D2 with a higher velocity. Okay. So particle is projected perpendicular to the magnetic field towards D2. Okay. And while doing this, what you have to do? You have to set up an electric field now. You have to set up an electric field such that D2 is negative and D1 is positive. Okay. So particle is projected perpendicular to magnetic field towards D2 such that electric field is from D1 to D2. Okay. Then only what will happen? Velocity increases. Then only what will happen? Velocity will increase. Okay. And if velocity increases, yesterday itself I have told you, if velocity is increasing, so what will happen to the radius? Radius also increases. Radius also increases. Okay. Now, if the velocity is also increasing and radius is also increasing, so now this particle will move within this electric field like this, circular path. Now just see here, if the particle has reached up to this point, okay. Now if it is moving in this direction, suppose, so it is the electric field is in this direction. Electric field is in this direction, and the particle moves in this direction. Charged particle. Okay, charged particle is moving in this direction, electric field is moving in this direction. So what will happen? Velocity will decrease here. Velocity will decrease here. So we don't want that. We don't want this thing, okay, that the particle's velocity must decrease. We want particle velocity to increase. So what we are going to do now, we are again going to change the magnetic field orientation. Again, what we are going to do, we are going to change the magnetic electric field orientation. So now what we want, that the electric field should be again be switched. The polarity must be changed. So the electric field becomes like this, and the particle which was coming like this, again it finds that this is the direction of electric field, so it will move. So now what is happening? Now what will happen? Just see here. When the particle reaches this point, okay, this edge, x edge, okay. So when particle reaches x, okay, when the particle reaches x, what happens? The polarity of d1 and d2 gets reversed. Now d1 becomes negative and d2 becomes positive. So now what happens? D1 becomes negative and d2 becomes positive. Understood? Now d1 becomes negative, d2 becomes positive. So now what will happen? The electric field will be in this direction. Okay, and magnetic and this velocity will be in this direction. So what will happen? Net force will be here and velocity will also increase. So this is what we want. And this is what we don't want. Initially, this was the situation, but we won't want this. Why? Because the positive charge particle is moving against the electric field. So its velocity will decrease. In this case, positive charge particle is moving along the magnetic electric field, so its velocity will increase. So this is what we want. So what will happen as the particle comes across along this x-axis? What will happen? The electric field now has to be switched. Okay, the direction of field has to be reversed. So now what will happen? The figure or the situation will look somewhat like this. So this will become now negative and this will become positive. Okay, and when the particle was here and when the particle after doing one circular motion has reached this point, so what will happen? Again it will see that the electric field is in this direction, so again it will move in this direction, okay, with a greater velocity. So suppose here the velocity was v1, so here it will enter with v2 velocity, okay, such that v2 will be greater than v1. Okay, now again if v2 is greater, what will happen? Again it will move in a greater circle. And it will reach this point. So now again what will happen? Again the field will be switched off. Okay, again the field has to be reversed. So again if the field is reversed, what will happen? This thing again becomes positive. Okay, and this thing again becomes negative. So what will happen? Again this particle will move with the greater velocity. Again this greater velocity, greater radius. Again it has moved here. Now again what will happen? Again the polarity gets changed. So this becomes negative. This becomes positive. So again what will happen? This will move with the greater velocity. So again a greater radius. So this way it will keep on moving like this. At one end, what will happen? It will come out. Okay, it will come out. Understood? So what is happening now? That as soon as it reaches the edge, as soon as it reaches this vertical edge, okay, this edge of the D, the particle that you had projected, where soon as it comes here, so what happens? The polarity has to reverse. When it reaches here, okay, with the greater velocity, again it makes a circle, half circle. So again it has to increase its velocity at this point. Understood? So this is what will happen. Every time the particle has to in this sorry, every time the D has to change its polarity. Okay, the particle which comes out where it is not hitting anywhere, Okay, the particle that comes out, it will be targeted towards anything. Okay, suppose this is an alpha particle. Okay, so this will go and hit the gold foil. Okay, suppose this is the alpha particle, so it will go and hit the gold foil. Okay, now, so if you have understood this, so what I'm going to write down that when particle reaches xx is here. Okay, so what will happen? The polarity of d1 and d2 gets reversed. Okay, again the polarity of d1 and d2 gets reversed. Okay, and particle moves with the greater velocity each time. Okay, it moves with the greater velocity each time. So anybody is having any doubt, you just ask now itself. Anybody is having any doubt, you ask now itself. Yes, nobody is having any doubt. Direction of magnetic field is towards inside the screen. The direction of magnetic field is inside the screen. Okay, going into the screen. Okay, see here, when it reaches this xx, okay, no, velocity is not equal to the velocity of light. That is a limitation. You cannot increase the velocity up to that point. In basic functioning, if you have any doubt, you just ask. Just see here one thing now. I'm just zooming it. You see it here. So what is happening here, that the particle moves like this, okay, with v velocity. Now what is happening? This particle, in due to the presence of magnetic field. So magnetic field is perpendicular. So if the magnetic field is perpendicular, so what will happen? This particle will move in a circular path. So it moves like this, and it reaches here, and it reaches here. It reaches here, okay. And as soon as it reaches this point, what will happen now? This is a positive charged particle, and you see that the electric field is in this direction. Okay, the electric field is in this direction. The electric field is in this direction. Okay, now if the electric field is in this direction, and if you have a charged particle, if you have a charged particle which is moving in this direction, its velocity will increase or decrease. Its velocity will increase or decrease. Its velocity will increase or decrease. Yes, its velocity will decrease. That is what we don't want. We don't want its velocity to be increased, decreased. Why? Because we want a high velocity particle. So now what we have to do? Now what you have to do? You should change the polarity of the. You should change the polarity of the D's. You have to change the polarities of the D. So to do that, what you are supposed to do now? Which this particle, this D was initially negative. This D was initially negative, and this was positive. This was positive. Okay, this was positive. So this was the field now. Now you want to change the. Now you want to change the D. Put this polarity. So now what will happen? This will become positive. This will become positive. Okay, and what will happen to the electric field? This electric field will be now. This electric field will be now changed. Okay, you will have a different orientation now. Now the electric field will be like this. Now the electric field will be like this. See here, electric field will be like this. Now if the electric field is like this and the particle is at this position, if the particle is at this position, Now what will happen to this velocity v1? Now what will happen to this particle v1? Will its velocity increase or decrease? When it moves from this d2 to d1, its velocity will increase or decrease? Its velocity increases. Okay, so its velocity increases and it reaches here. Now with increased velocity, okay, with increased velocity, when it reaches at this point, okay, when it reaches this point, so it will make a greater circle, because we have studied velocity increases, radius increases. Now again when it reaches here, you are seeing that again the electric field is in this direction. You see here, electric fields are in this direction. Okay, electric fields are in this direction and my charge is flowing in this direction. Now again what will happen? Velocity will decrease or increase? Again the velocity will decrease again. Okay, again the velocity will decrease. So you don't want that again. So what you have to do? Again you have to change the polarity. Again you should change the polarity. So now again what will happen? This negative charge particles will now become again positive, negative, 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 negative. This becomes positive, positive, positive. Again the electric field will be now from in the opposite direction. Up again the electric field will be in opposite direction. Okay, again the electric field will be like this. And if the electric field is like this, again what will happen to the charge? It will move with the greater velocity, and again it will make a greater circle. Again it will make a greater circle like this. How polarity will be changing, I will tell you, but first understand what is happening here. Okay, you're not concentrating on what is important. I'll go step by step now. So again what will happen? The particle will move with a greater velocity. So what will happen? This complete phenomena will happen again and again, till what time it will happen? Till it completes, or you get a particular velocity. Okay, see, it is happening. And what is the maximum velocity of maximum radius it can attain? It can attain a maximum radius equal to the radius of the d, and then it will be ejected out. This is how this complete thing functions. Okay, this is how the complete thing functions. Understood? This is how complete thing functions. So do you understand now what is happening here? How polarity is getting changed? We have a numerical for that. Okay, we have a numerical analysis for that. So don't worry for that. You just try to understand the basic functioning of this now. Is there a doubt? Is there a doubt here? Okay. So now if you have understood the basic thing, what is happening over here, okay. So I'm not writing anymore, because you can write it now. Okay, you can write it on your own now. Fine. Okay. So when this happens, when all these things has done, so at the end what will happen? You have to eject the particle. Okay, you will eject the particle. Now the main thing is that at what point it will get ejected out. So maximum velocity, okay, maximum velocity a particle can attain is corresponding to what? Radius of the d. It is corresponding to radius of the d, because if this particle, see, every time what is happening, the radius is increasing, and at once if it radius increases and becomes equal to the radius of the d, so then what will happen? It will go beyond the d. Okay, then that will be the maximum velocity. So that is what we are writing here. The maximum velocity of particle can attain is corresponding to the radius of D's. Okay, the radius of D's, which is capital R. Understood? Fine. So what we have to calculate that velocity over here now. We have to calculate that velocity over here, that corresponding to which you will have the maximum radius, corresponding to which you will be having a maximum radius or maximum velocity. Okay, so final velocity will be what? Final velocity will be what? So final velocity. So first calculation for final velocity. Okay, final velocity. So velocity equation yesterday only, day before yesterday we had calculated. So V will be equals to QBR, okay, divided by mass M. Okay, this is the first equation, where V is the final velocity, V is the final velocity, Q is the charge, B is the magnetic field, M is the mass of the particle, and capital R is the radius of D. Okay, it is radius of D. Okay, Q is the charge, B is the external magnetic field that you have applied, M is the mass of the particle, V is the velocity of the particle. Okay, so this is the first calculation. Second, what we can calculate is the final kinetic energy. Okay, so kinetic energy of particle. Kinetic energy of particle. Okay, so kinetic energy K of the particle is written as half mv square. So m v square means q square v square r square divided by m square. So when you solve this, what you will get? M and this square gets cancelled. Okay, so you are having 1 by 2m into q square b square r square. Okay, so this is the kinetic energy. This is the equation number 2. Okay, now the third thing is about the polarity. How is the polarity getting changed? How is the polarity getting changed? Okay, the third thing is very, very important. Polarity of these. So I'm writing it as a question. How is polarity of D's getting changed? Okay, how is the polarity of the D's getting changed? So I had shown you this figure. Okay, and you will connect this with the oscillator, high frequency oscillator. Okay, high frequency oscillator. Okay, like this. So you will show this figure only in the exam. Okay, you will draw this figure only in the exam, what I'm drawing right now. Okay, like this, and you can show a magnetic field over here like this. Okay, so this is the diagram you can show in the exam. Okay, this is the only diagram in NCERT, and so you can also use the same diagram. Okay, you just point the velocity over here, V. Okay, and this is the final velocity, like that, and this is a high frequency oscillator. High frequency oscillator. Okay, high frequency oscillator. Now we have to understand about this. We have to understand about the high frequency oscillator, because every time changing the polarity is important, and after what time it will change the polarity, that is also very important. Okay, at what time it will change the polarity, that is also very important. So if you understand this motion, okay, actually how it is moving, so you can say that for any particular motion, okay, suppose if I see about this motion, okay, from here to here, so from starting from here to here, okay, as soon as this particle has reached a half circle, as soon as the particle has reached the half circle, what is happening? The polarity has to change. Yes or no? For every half circular motion, the particle of the particle, the polarity of the D has to be changed, correct? So actually, how you will set the frequency of the oscillator? How will you set the frequency of the oscillator? So it is actually at the half of the total time period. Okay. What is time period? What is time period? What is time period? Time period. So time period here will be one complete circular motion. One complete circular motion will be the time period. Okay. Now for half, it will be what? T by 2. Correct? T is the total time period, and for this half, okay, half circle. For half circle, what is the time period? T by 2. So what is the time period? What is the time period? Time period is 2 pi m by qb, okay, divided by 2. So this 2 also gets cancelled. So the time, so this particle, so the particle takes T is equals to pi m by qb time, okay, to complete one half circle. Okay. Now, if you see this time here, if you see this time over here, is it depending upon velocity? No, it is not depending upon the velocity. Is it depending upon the radius? No, it is not depending upon the radius. So is this value changing or constant? Yes. If this time over here, is it depending upon the radius? No. Is it depending upon the velocity? No. Then is it a constant value or a changing value? Yes, tell me. Is this time a constant value or a changing value for a given magnetic field? It is a constant value. It is a constant value. So there is not a problem now. There is not a problem now that I have a constant value. I have a constant time that after this particular time, the particle has, this D has to change its polarity. Okay. So this time is a constant. It does not depends upon this time. See here, this time is not a function of radius. It does not depends upon radius. Okay. This does not depends upon the velocity. Okay, it neither depends upon the radius and it neither depends upon the velocity. So this thing is a constant value. So either I take this small particle, either I take this smaller one, either I take for this smaller one, or I take for this larger one. The time will be same or different. Yes, either I take this smaller one here, either I take this smaller one or I take this larger one. The time will be same or different. Yes. The time will be same or different for changing the polarity. It will be same. Good. It will be same. So now how will you set the frequency, that you have to understand. Now how will you set the frequency? You have to understand that. Okay. Now just see here. If a particle is making one complete oscillation, okay, so this is D only. Okay, I have drawn this D also. This is D only, and this is a particle motion only. Okay, so it is like the particle is moving like this. Okay, let me draw the D also. Okay, so this is a particle motion. This is the particle motion now, and this in black color, this is the D. Okay, this is what I have drawn D. This is D. Okay, D's, and this is motion trajectory. Okay, now if you see here, so it is moving from D1. Okay, this is the motion in D1, and this is the motion in D2. This is the motion in D2. So you are having motion in D1 and D2. For complete one oscillation, how much time its polarity will be changed? How much time its polarity will be changed? Suppose this is D1 and suppose this is D2. Okay, So for one complete oscillation, how many times the polarity is changing? One time or two times? Its polarity is changing one time or two times? Yes, it's changing two times. Good. See how it is changing two times. Just see here how is it changing two times. As the particle enters here, okay. So what is happening once the polarity is getting changed? Okay. Now the polarity is continuously changing here. Okay. The polarity is same up to here. Now again the polarity gets changed, and then you are making a one complete motion. Okay. So there are two different polarities in one complete rotation. So try to again understand again. So for this half of the cycle, okay, okay. So suppose this is positive, okay. For this half of the cycle, this is positive, okay. For this half of the cycle, what will happen? This has to be negative, okay. This half of the cycle, this has to be negative now. So it is changing two times. So if it is changing two times, so what I can say that time period, okay, time period which is t, okay, is equals to 2 times of t. Understood? Time period of changing the polarity. Time period of changing the polarity is 2 times of the t. Why? Because it is moving from here to here. It is moving one from here to here, and then again from here to here. So this is total capital T, which is equals to the half of the t. Understood? Yes. Now, what is this time period t that we have? This time period t is capital T is 2 pi m by qb. Okay. From here, I can calculate the frequency also. Frequency will be qb by 2 pi m. Okay. This is our third and the fourth equation. Understood? This is our third and the fourth equation. Now, cyclotron frequency, if you want to calculate, okay. Cyclotron frequency. Okay. So cyclotron frequency is omega c. This is 2 pi mu. Okay. So 2 pi mu. This is mu value. Okay. So what you will write? You will be writing it as qb by m. Omega c will be qb by m. Okay. This is what you will be writing. The cyclotron frequency. Okay. So anybody is having any doubt with the time period or the frequency of cyclotron? Is anyone having any doubt with the cyclotron frequency? Yes, anyone who is having any doubt? Nobody? Okay. So the analysis is completed here. Okay. Now we are going to see the limitations. Okay. Limitations of the cyclotron. We are going to see the limitations of the cyclotron. Okay. Limitations of the cyclotron. Okay. So first limitation, we cannot accelerate the particle to a very high speed. Why? Because theory of relativity comes in between. Okay, theory of relativity comes in between. How is it coming in between? Just see. As per Einstein's theory of relativity, we have that mass of the particle is equal to rest mass of the particle divided by 1 minus v square by c square. Okay, where m naught is the rest mass of the particle. Okay, rest mass of the particle. V is the velocity of the particle. V is the velocity of particle. Okay, velocity of particle. Comparable to C. Comparable to C. Comparable to C. If it is not comparable to C, so this is not used. Okay, this is not used. So comparable to C means it should be somewhere around 10 to the power minus 6, 10 to the power, plus 6, 10 to the power 7, like that, meters per second. Meters per. So that then we can say it is comparable. Okay. So now if it happens, so what will be there? That if the particle's velocity increases too much, so this mass will be this now. Mass gets changed. So mass varies. Okay. Mass varies with the time, with the speed. Okay. With the speed here. So if mass is varying with the speed, so as you increase the speed of the particle in cyclotron, okay, as you increase the speed of the particle in cyclotron, so what will happen to the T now? Yes, pi m dash you will be using. So this is m dash divided by qb. Okay, this will have a different value now. What will be the oscillator? See, oscillator is a different device. Oscillator is a different device. Okay, so it will have its own frequency. It will have its own oscillation waves. Okay, so now you will set that to a particular frequency. Now you have set that to the particular frequency. Now you cannot change that. Every time you will not be able to change it because the time period will be very, very small. Okay. So if this time is m pi m dash divided by qb, and this t was what? 2 pi m by qb. Okay. Now we have seen that this t is equals to 2t. Okay. Now if this m dash changes, if m changes, if mass changes, okay, t changes, but frequency of oscillator remains same, because frequency of oscillator is not dependent on the mass of the particle. It is different. Okay, here we have written it as of mass, but it is actually a different thing. We have calculated this in terms of this. Actually, it is not depending on anything. So you will just manually set the frequency. Yes, this is the frequency of your oscillator. That's it. It is a different, entirely different thing. This is an external setup. It has nothing to do with this, with what is going on inside your cyclotron. Okay, irrespective of what is going on, it will provide that particular frequency to you. Okay, so if mass is getting changed, if mass changes, T changes, but frequency of oscillator, does not change, does not change. And so, okay, what will happen? Everything will be now chaotic. Okay, you will not get a proper velocity, you will not get a proper acceleration. Okay, and so everything does not happens properly. Okay, that means it is not in the sync. Okay, this oscillator frequency is not in the frequency of the particles motion. Okay, they are not synchronized. Okay, they are not synchronized. Okay, so everything, so better we write, if mass changes, the T changes, but frequency of oscillator does not change, and so they are not synchronized anymore. Okay, they are not in sync anymore. Okay, they're not in sync anymore. Okay, sync, they're not in sync anymore. Okay, so this is what is the first limitation. Now talking about the second limitation, lighter particles cannot be accelerated. Lighter particles can't be accelerated. Why they can't be accelerated? Because they are lighter, because they are light, because of light weight. Okay, because of light weight. Okay, what will happen? their velocity increases fastly. Okay, velocity increases fastly. So if velocity increases very fast, so t is 2t is not equal to t now. Okay, the same reason comes in between. Okay, now the theory of relativity will be there. Theory of relativity. Okay, and due to which what will happen, this 2t will not be equal to the capital T now. Okay, the same thing now. Okay, the same thing. If the mass is less, the velocity of the electron, suppose electron is only there, so electron we will not use electron here. Why? Because its mass is very less, and if its mass is less, so particles velocity increases very fastly, so its mass also gets changed. If its mass gets changed, so what will happen, the oscillator frequency, okay, the oscillator frequency and the frequency of the uh, motion, okay, the frequency of the motion of the particle will not be in sync anymore. Okay, so that's the second limitation. The third limitation is uncharged particle. Okay, uncharged particle can't be accelerated, okay. So like neutrons are accelerated in some experiments. Okay, neutrons are accelerated in some experiment. So for accelerating neutron, we have a different device. We will not be using the cyclotron. Okay, we'll not be using the cyclotron over here. Okay, so this complete analysis is done for the cyclotron. Okay, so just take down the slides, and if anybody is having any doubt, you just ask. If anybody is having any doubt, you just ask. Okay, this complete analysis is done. Okay, you don't have to write everything. Okay, you don't have to draw the figures so many times. Okay, you have to just draw that figure that I have told you. That is more than enough. One figure is more than enough, and everything you have to explain in the short. Okay, everything you have to explain in the short. Relativity theory is not in your syllabus, dear. That limitation alone you understand. Okay, theory of relativity is not in your syllabus. Just this thing you understand. Okay. Yes, anybody is having any doubt? This is the first slide. Second slide. Theory of relativity, it's not there in your syllabus. Okay, you just understand if the mass changes as the velocity changes. Okay, for a quantum particles, if the mass is if the velocity is changing, when the velocity is comparable to the velocity of light, that time mass will change. Okay, that alone you have to understand here. Okay, what is theory of relativity, complete theory, and this topic is not in your syllabus. This is the second slide. Third slide. Fourth slide. Nobody is having any doubt in this? Okay, so this is the last slide. Yes, yes, yes. Wait. Today I'll give you. Wait. Okay, so you have, if you have taken this, so now just take down the sums. So for the first one, I have to give you that remaining, that those 10 questions. For these 10 questions, I'll give you the solution. Okay, you just note down this for current electricity. Current electricity, note down this also. These 10 or 20 sums are 10 sums are there, I guess. Do it fast. Done. Twenty sums are there. Okay, so 1 to 11 you have taken. Okay, for this was for the current electricity. Okay, this was for the current electricity. Now you take for the moving charges and magnetism. So what we are going to do tomorrow, we are going to only discuss these questions. Okay, so I recommend all of you to do these questions and then come to the class tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to discuss these questions first. Okay, because we have covered a particular portion. Okay, moving charges and its analysis we have completed. So I'm going to discuss these questions first tomorrow. Okay, and then I'm going to start the new topic tomorrow. Understood? So first I'll recommend that you take these questions first. Okay, this is based on the moving charges and magnetism. Okay, so I guess there are 10 questions in this. So take this slide quickly. So these 10 questions tomorrow we'll discuss. Try it out. Okay, and I will ask you the answers. Okay, and then you tell, and then I will solve it. Okay, so this is how we will do these sums. So first we'll do these 10 sums, and then we'll start the new topic. Okay, magnetic field due to a current carrying wire. Okay, oh, sorry, magnetic force due to a current carrying wire. Magnetic force due to a current carrying wire. Okay, so 10 questions from moving charges and magnetism. 10 questions from current electricity. Okay. But first try to complete this chapter first. Okay. Moving charges and magnetism. Okay. Thank you.